sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good morning, everyone. Today we will continue with the remaining gathas of the suttas that we have done already. I hope you can hope you can see the screen.
Not yet, Bandi. Now it's okay.
Now it's okay, right? Okay, so we are supposed to do the Ajakalapa Sutta today, right? Ajakalapa Sutta. The sutta we already read. So for that we have to open the sutta. So give me 1 minute. Ajakalapa Sutta. Can you see the sutta in the screen now?
Yes, Bandi.
Right. Okay. So anyone is willing to translate because it's a short sutta, you can just roughly translate the sutta and go for the gatha. Is anyone volunteered to translate? How about Sally? Can you do it?
Okay, I will try, Bandi. Evam May Suda, let's have I heard Ekan Samayam Bhagava Bhava Yang Viharati. Ajagara Bhage Jediya. What? Jediya, sorry. At one time, the blessed one was dwelling in the Ajaganaba shrine in the Bhava. Ajaganabhagasa Yakasa Bhavane in the mention of the Ajagalabhaga's Yakas mention, sorry. Tena Kobana Samayana Bhagawa Ratandaka Ratin Sayang Aboga Se no Hodi. At that time, the blessed one was sitting in the very pitch black darkness of the night in an open place. Devoja Igamegang Pusayati. The rain rains gently, or maybe the rain drops drop by drop. Atako Ajagana Bago Yako Bagawado Bayang Changbi Dadang Noma Hansang Ubade Dugamo Yena Bagawate Nuba Sangami. Then the Yaka Ajagana Baga approached to the Buddha. He to produce in order to produce the fear. But the Changbi that Noma sound almost similar.
Noma is to arouse goosebumps.
Okay, good. In order to arouse goosebumps and consternation.
Chamitatta, we normally translate the state, to make him like paralyzed or to state of being stiff, like you become
Little
like
bit stiff
of fear.
to the Buddha. Okay.
And
Upasangami
actually,
dua.
it's also better to say the translation is correct, but upade to kame, desirous to arouse that, right? With a desire.
Okay. Okay.
Then
Upasangami dua Bhagavado Avidure Tikadon. Having approached there, he made it 3 times. He was not far from the blessed one, and he made it 3 times. Akuro Bagurodi. Made it Akuro Baguro 3 times, the sound. Akura Baguninga Agasi. Iso de Samano Bisa Jodi. Samana, this is a ghost for you. Atako Bhagava Edamatang Vididawa. Then the blessed one, having understood this meaning, Tayang Vinayang Imam Udana Udanesi, at that time he uttered this utterance. Yata Sagesu Damesu Baragu Hoti Brahmano. He is a Brahmin when he's a Brahmin when he has gone to the other shore in regard to one's own qualities. Atha idam bisa janja pagunanja devadita wadadidi. Then he goes beyond the ghost, the sound of Bagura.
yeah. Pakkulan chati vattati. He overcomes, like he goes beyond, like he's not, it means he's not afraid of this demon and he's not afraid of these sounds that he made. Right? So okay, for the translation. So we'll go into the explanation of the Gatha. So I hope you can see the vocabulary here. So Gatha of the Ajakalapa Sutta. Yada sakesu dhammesu paragu hoti brahmano atta etam pisachancha pakkulanchati vattati. So this is the how to understand the Gatha. Yada brahmano. So here the subject is brahmana. So we have to bring it here. Otherwise it's written in the end of the sentence. Yada brahmano sakesu dhammesu paragu hoti. Sorry for this. Paragu hoti. There was spelling mistake. Typo. Dhammesu paragu hoti. Atta etang pisachancha pakkulanchati vattati. Right? So if you understand this first sentence, this is a simple sentence. The only thing is we have to arrange the Gatha in a simple manner. That's the most important thing when we try to translate it. Yada brahmano sakesu dhammesu paragu hoti. When this is a relative clause, the Brahmin is paragu, has crossed, gone to the shore, other shore, or gone to the end of the sakesu dhammesu, his own dhamma. Saka is his own. So when he has gone to the end of the his own dhammas, own realities, atta etang pisachancha pakkulanchati vattati. According to the story, here ativattati. Normally ativattati means goes beyond. But here it refers to going beyond means he overcomes the fear, right, towards the pisacha, the demon, and also the sounds he made, right? So we'll go and understand, try to understand the meanings of these terms one by one. So that's why it's very important when you read a Gatha, mostly if it comes in a sutta, we have to understand it based on the context under which the sutta was preached. So here yada is when, brahmano is the brahmin. Here brahmin means arahant, one who has taken out the evil deeds, bahita papa brahmana. Sakesu dhammesu, his own realities. So here The own realities is explained in the commentary of the Gatha. I hope you can see. Yasmin Kale, Sakatta Bhava Sankatesu Panchasu Upadana Kandesu. So the Sakadhamma is explained in various ways in the sutta. One way of explaining is Sakatta Bhava Sanke. Saka is own. So here own means his own self. Self doesn't here indicate that Buddhism advocates a self. This means your life. So in your life, the Panchasu Upadana Kanda Dhammesu, of the 5 aggregates of clinging. 5 aggregates of clinging. So this means the realities in which the Sakkaya Ditthi or the defilements are based on. Or based on means it's like depending upon. Then Paragu. Paragu means going to the, we can say going to the end of something or going to the other shore. So here we are talking when we take Sakadhamma as the 5 aggregates of clinging. Paragu means there are 4 ways of Paragu. It means he understands the 5 aggregates completely in terms of meditation, in terms of insight, wisdom. Then he, because of that contemplation, he gets rid of the defilements regarding these defilements which are based on these aggregates, and then he attains the cessation of the aggregates, nibbana, and also develops the path, noble path, which cut off these defilements. So here, that is the commentary explains in detail. Paragu means Pariññābhi samaya paripuri vasena parangato. So pariññā means there are 2 ways regarding the upadana khanda. We have, normally we say dukkha should be pariññā, dukkha is pariññaya. Pariññaya means we have 2 ways of contemplation according to the vipassana. Pariññā is like, if I write it here, pariññā and abhiññā. So pariññā is knowing the realities in terms of 3 general characteristics, like universal characteristics. Pariññā, knowing the realities in terms of universal characteristics. So then abhiññā is normally knowing the realities in terms of their unique characteristics. So we have 2 terms, abhiññā and pariññā. So only if you have abhiññā, you are able to do pariññā according to the Nitti. So he completes this pariññā. Completing pariññā means he knows the 5 aggregates are impermanent, suffering, and non-self thoroughly, right? Then tato yeva tesang hetubhute samudaye tappatipakka lakkane nirodhe nirodha gamaniya patipadaya pahana satchikiriya bhavana samaya paripuri vasena parangat. So here it says, according the dukkha satcha is the 5 aggregates of clinging. You have to practice in terms of pariññā. Then there's now the other 3 noble truths are mentioned collectively. Collectively means now the dukkha should be pariññā. Then he mentions, the commentary mentions samudaya. Samudaya is the craving. Nirodha is nibbana. Then nirodhagamini patipada, which is the magga. Then regarding them, respectively, you have to do pahana. Pahana is connected to samudaya. Then Satchikiriya is connected to Nirodha. Then Bhavana is connected to Nirodhagamini Patipada. So it's a way of saying, like, respectively, you have to connect these meanings with these actions that we are supposed to do. Abhisamaya Paripuri Vasena Parangato. So he goes to the, actually he goes to the end of this reality, end of these 4 noble truths. Like we can say, normally Paragu can be explained as going to the other shore of Nibbana. Another way of explaining is you go to the end of the certain thing. Like if someone has gone to the now we know Pali Paragu. Pali Paragu is now he has gone to the extreme level of the Pali. So it's like sometimes we call Paragu when you go to the end of a certain thing, like you have mastered something. So here he has completed the understanding about the Four Noble Truths. Not only mere understanding regarding the Dukkha Satya, he has completed the understanding. Samudaya he is eradicated, Nirodha he has attained, Magga he has completed. Hoti Brahmano. When the Brahmin has completed these functions regarding the Noble Truths, Evang Sabbaso Bahita Papatta Brahmano Nama Hoti. Right? So he is called a Brahmin. Right? He is called a Brahmin. We can also say if someone has gone to the end of these Four Noble Truths, he has completed these Four Noble Truths, he can also be called a Brahmin, right? Because of this, he can be called a Brahmin. And also because of the sentence pattern found in the sutta, we can also say when the Brahmin has gone to the end of this, he has overcome the fears. That's how I translated in the beginning. Also, we can say when in that case, if you take the second meaning, we have to say when someone has gone to the end of these Four Noble Truths, like he has understood the Four Noble Truths in such a way, he is called Evang Sabbaso Bahita Papatta Brahmano Nama Hoti. So then, thus, because of having eradicated the evil completely, someone is called a Brahmin, right? So then, Sabbaso Sakatta Bhava Bodhanenipi Chatusatcha Abhisamayo Hoti. So then it explains, now someone has, now the Gatha says that he goes to the end of the Sakatta Bhavadhammis, his own realities. So own realities are explained. Now there are, in this tense, according to this context, the five aggregates of clinging. And then the reason for these five aggregates, the Samudaya, the Nirodha, which is completely opposite of these five aggregates, completely opposite, and the practice that leads to this Nibbana, right? So then, Sabbaso Sakatta Bhava Bodhanenapi Chatusatchabi Samayo Hoti. Now he is explained, the commentary explains, someone completes his understanding about the Four Noble Truths by completely understanding his own realities about the life. Vuttan Hetan. Now this is also very important. Now a sutta that is found in Sangyutta Nikaya, which is called Rohitassa Sutta, has been explained in this Udana commentary. I think you have heard this sutta. Buddha mentioned, Imasmin eva byamatte kalevare sasanyam hi samanake lokancha loka samudayancha nirodhancha nirodhagamini patipadancha panyapemi. I promulgate, I say that the world is found, or world, I promulgate the world in this byamatte kalevare, this body, kalevara is body, which is about 6 feet. Normally we get byama, can be 6 feet. Byamatte kalabare, in this body which is about 6 feet. Sasanyam hi. Sanya, here is a sanya. Sasanya means together with sanya. Mana is mind. Samana here is together with mind. So in this body, together with sanya, together with the consciousness, I promulgate, I say the world, dukkha, samudaya, nirodha, magga can be found, or he says it is found there, or it promulgates there. So the commentary says this, according to this explanation, what does it say? The previous sentence is an explanation about this sutta. It doesn't mean the Four Noble Truths are found in the body. That's not what he's mentioning. According to the sutta, just by, it's not that the Nibbana is found inside your body. Nibbana is found, not it is within you, because it cannot be explained in terms of location. If we say about the other three Noble Truths, it's possible to say because they are found here. The the explanation of this sutta is Sabbaso Sakatta Bhava Bodhanenapi Chatusacchabi Samayo Hoti. So what does it mean? When you understand your own self, your own body and mind, you attain the Four Noble Truths. You understand the Four Noble Truths. Dukkha, completely understanding, Samudaya, eradicating, Nibbana, attaining, Magga, developing. So this is a very nice explanation. This explains about another sutta. So according to the tradition, this sutta doesn't mean that the Nibbana is found in our body. It means it's not found in our body or mind. It is by understanding this body and mind, right? Saka atta bhavava bodhane. Avabodha means understanding. So by completely understanding the natures of our life, one is capable of understanding the Four Noble Truths and attain the Four Noble Truths. So this is also an explanation about a very important fundamental in our sasana. So this is how the Theravadians would explain, right? So this is a one explanation about Sakadhamma. Sakadhamma means your own realities. One goes to the end of these realities by in terms of understanding, eradicating, attaining, and practicing. And so he becomes a Brahmin. So, or either a Brahmin has gone beyond has gone to these shows, gone to the end of these Four Noble Truths by his practice. Then the commentary goes on to explain the meanings of the other Sakadhammas. There are few ways one can explain your own Dhamma. There's another approach, right? Before going to that, if you have any questions, we can start a discussion on this.
Hi, Bhante.
Hello, Dr. Brian.
Yeah, could you please explain a little bit more on the difference between Parinyaya and Abhinyaya, Bhante?
Okay. So this can be found in the Patisambhida Magga and its commentary. If you go into the commentary of the beginning part of the commentary, it says Abhinya is knowing the realities in their intrinsic nature. Parinya is knowing the realities in terms of universal characteristics. For example, if you take Patavi Dhatu, knowing Patavi as hardness in its intrinsic nature is called Abhinya. Then knowing Patavi as impermanent, suffering, and non-self is Parinya. So then there is a overlap of these two characteristics. Now we consider knowing its intrinsic nature is Abhinyana. Knowing it as non-self is Parinyana. So just knowing its intrinsic nature in the first level of meditation, we also understand in Ditti Visuddhi, Patavi is a non-self reality. It is not a self. It is not a being. We call Nisatta Nijjiva. So just by understand the intrinsic nature also, we understand about certain non-selfness. So the scope of non-selfness is very huge. It's very huge means it's quite large. One understands in a reality in its intrinsic nature. So it has its own nature. It has no control over its nature, and it's just a mere nature. Nature means a near reality. So that is also a characteristic of non-selfness. If something happens because of causes, it's also a part of non-selfness. Then if something arises and passes away and cannot be controlled, it has no essence of permanence, no essence of pleasure and so forth. This is also an attribute of non-selfness. So when we say Abhinyana, we are focusing about the intrinsic nature. When we understand the intrinsic nature, naturally we understand that it is not a person. It is not the person we have been thinking as I. So therefore, when we know the Abhinyana, we have to say it's knowing the intrinsic nature. At the same time, we understand this one aspect of non-selfness. When we come into Parinyana, we know the impermanence, suffering. Based on the impermanence and suffering, we understand it is out of control. It has no specific valuable essence. Then we understand it's non-selfness. So these are the two explanations of Abhinyana and Parinyana according to the Patisambhida Magga.
Hi, Bhante. So,
yeah,
I heard from somewhere that it says that Parinyaya refers to the stage of Vipassana practice. and
Yes.
abhinyaya refers to the stage of magga knowledge. Is that correct, Bhante?
Then I think this is this. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not saying it's wrong. Maybe I feel like it's a confusion made because of this abhinya can be found in the patipada also. We say dukkha patipada, kippa abhinya, and so forth. So at the level, this abhinya level, in when we explain about the practice in a different format, abhinya starts from strong udyabhaya till the magga. So it is the higher level of the practice. So that is a different type of abhinyana because it indicates about the wisdom. So it also includes the magga. Then maybe that is what he has taken. Someone has taken here and explained parinya is vipassana and abhinya is magga. This is now if you go into the Patisambhida Magga Sutame Jnana, Sutame Panya, we find Rupam Abhinyayam and Rupam Parinyayam. So all the two words we find. So then we find Samudaya Pahatabba and so forth. So the commentary says difference of Abhinyaya and Parinyaya is knowing the intrinsic nature and knowing the three universal characteristics. The word Abhinyana Abhinya can be explained in various ways. As we know it the supernatural powers. We know is the higher vipassana starting from higher strong udyabhaya till magga is also called abhinyana, and also knowing the intrinsic nature is called abhinyana. I think maybe this kind of a mixture maybe that someone was preaching. I'm not aware about parinya is practice and abhinya is maggapala. I'm not very aware of it. I'll try to ask some of my friends because there are many ways that the path can be explained to be true. So I don't deny that there can be a possibility which I have not read, but what I was explaining was a different approach.
I see. Thank you, Bhante. I think yeah, for that person, because so he we found in the Dasutra Sutta, there is the 10 kinds of things that the Venerable Sariputta preached. And then in
Okay.
the there is one part in the Abhinyaya, then in the four Dhamma, we should Abhinyaya basically. Then the Venerable Sariputta refers to the Four Noble Truths, and because based on that information, a person says that it refers to the Magga.
Because another way of explaining is abhinyaya can be done for all Four Noble Truths according to Patisambhida, because knowing its intrinsic nature. So even according to that, Nibbana is abhinyaya, Samudaya also abhinyaya, Magga also abhinyaya, it says. So it means knowing its, we have to know all the Four Noble Truths in terms of intrinsic nature. So that is also can be found, like Magga is abhinyaya, Nibbana is abhinyaya, Samudaya also abhinyaya. But when it comes to parinyaya, it's only confined to the dukkha satcha. Is it, maybe it is because of that? I'm not sure.
Right, yeah.
Because knowing the intrinsic nature can be applied to all. But I'll go through that because the word abhinyaya can, according to my knowledge in the grammar, I think it can cover the Maggapala. It is possible. But only thing we have to find the perfect reference. The sutta you were mentioning was?
Yes, in Dasutra Sutta in Digha Nikaya.
Dasutra Sutta. Okay, right. I'll go through that, Doctor.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Any questions? Oh, okay. So we'll move to the next part. Then sometimes the Sakadhamma can be explained Sila, Samadhi, Panya, and Vimutti Jnana Darsana. So that is called Attano Dhamme. So Attano Dhamma Nama Atta Kamassa Puggalassa Siladi Dhamma. So Attano Dhamma, your own Dhammas are the realities like Sila, Samadhi, Panya of the person who desires for his benefit, like a person who desires for his benefit, who wants to have success or development in his life. Sila Samadhi Panya is his Attano Dhamma. So why does it says like that? So Sila Samadhi Panya Vimuttyadyuhi Vodana Dhamma, the purified of dhammas that which purifies ourselves. Ekanta Hita Sukha Sampadanena Purisassa Attano Dhamma Nama. So if someone wants to say this is really mine, it has another approach of the Theravadians, that reality should bring benefits to us. If something brings disadvantages, it is not proper to call it as your own. So that is another approach, right? So it says that it's a way of interpreting of Dhamma. If something to go ours, it has to bring good benefits to us. Na anattavaha sankilesa Dhamma via asaka Dhamma. You can see the sankilesa Dhamma means Dhammas which are like defiled. So sankilesa, like kilesas, together with kilesas, right? Sankilesa means kilesa dhammas. Kilesa means akusala dhammas. So these dhammas bring disadvantages to us. So they are called asaka dhamma, not ours. So another approach is, now according to the first explanation, Sakka Dhamma is your own life, the reality is connected to your life. Asaka Dhamma means the second explanation is Sakka Dhamma means the reality brings advantages to us, and Asaka Dhamma is the reality which just brings disadvantages to us, like the akusalas. So there's another explanation. So when we say in Dhamma preaching or to explaining, one approach is we can say Sakka Dhamma is the realities which brings advantage, benefits. Asaka Dhamma is the realities which bring disadvantages. So then Paragu, he goes to the end of these, like Paripurya Pariyantangata. So here he has completed these Sila Samadhi Panya. That is called Paragu, right? That is called Paragu. So then there's a very detailed explanation on that. And one way of explaining is, I'll come into this. So our Sasana have, in that sense, we have 5 types of Sakka Dhamma: Sila, Samadhi, Panya, Vimutti, and Vimutti Jnana Dassana, right? Sila, Samadhi, Panya, Vimutti, and Vimutti Jnana Dassana. Then Sila is our practice. It is twofold as Lokiya and Lokuttara. I'll go through that also. It will be useful for your Dhamma knowledge. I'll quickly go through that. Tesu Lokiyang, Silang Tava Lokiya Lokuttara Vasena Duvidang. It's twofold as Lokiya Lokuttara. Out of these two, Tesu Lokiyang Pubbabhaga Silang. So Lokiya Sila is the Sila we practice, like five precepts: Upasambhada Sila, Samanera Sila, Uposatha Sila. The Sila we practice in our practice, in the initial stages of practice. Tang Sankepato Patimokka Sangvaradi Vasena Chatubbeda. For the monks, it is fourfold as Patimokka Sangvara, Indriya Sangvala, Ajiya Parisuddhi, and Pachena Sannisita. I think you studied this, the fourfold Sila. Vittaratopana Aneka Pabeda, it can be explained in various ways in detail. Lokuttarang Magga Pala Vasena Duvidam. Lokuttara Sila can be found in Magga and Pala. Attato, in terms of reality, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, and Samma Ajiva, the Sila in the Lokuttara level. Yatacha Silang, the same way as the Sila, Tata Samadhi Panyacha, Lokiya Lokuttara Vasena Duvida. Samadhi Panya are also twofold as Lokiya and Lokuttara. Tata Lokiya Samadhi is Saha Upacharena Atta Samapattiyo. Atta Samapatti and also the Upachara Samadhi. Lokuttara Samadhi, Magga Pariyapana. Lokuttara Samadhi is Magga Pariyapana, in the Magga. So this is a little bit, I'm a little bit confused on this, because the Sila can be found in Magga and Pala both, but the Samadhi is explained only in the Magga Pariyapana, only in the Magga. But when you come to Panya, you can see Magga and Pala Sampayutta. I don't know whether it's a printing mistake or whether there is a certain way of saying is, because the Samadhi is, because Pala Samapatti also, Pala Chitta also have very strong Samadhi. But in Samadhi, it's only the Lokuttara Samadhi here, it's taken only Magga Pariyapana, right? So this is something that we have to find, whether the Sri Lankan or the Thai books, like the other commentaries, versions, include Pala or not. Magga Samadhi is explained. There is a specific nature of Magga Samadhi, that it is called Anantarika Samadhi in Ratana Sutta, because it gives immediate results. Maybe that is the reason, or maybe it's something missing, because Sila can be found, Lokutra Sila can be found in Magga and Phala. Lokutra Panya also Magga and Phala, but Samadhi is given only in the Magga. Then Panyapi Lokiya, Sutam Lokiya, Panya also can be found mundane, Sutamaya, Chintame, Bana, Bhavanamaya. It's Sutame knowledge, the knowledge we get through listening, learning, Chintamaya by thinking, Bhavanamaya by practice, but Sasava. These are all objects of defilements. It means Lokiya. Lokutra Panna, but the Lokutra Panya is Magga Sampayutta, Pala Sampayutta, Magga and Pala. So one can argue whether maybe only Magga is taken because it eradicates the defilements, but in the Pala is also taken here, it brings the Patipasadi Pahana. So Sila and Panya is found in Magga and Pala, but Samadhi is explained in the Magga, that is why I said it is, I'm a little bit not confirmed, but not perfectly understand why it is missing. Then Vimukti Nama, Vimukti is twofold, Pala Vimukti, Nibbana. Right, Palachitta is because with the Palachitta you comes into a great liberation. Then Nibbana is also the ultimate liberation. Tasma Lokuttara. It is only Lokuttara. Vimutti is only Lokuttara. Phala and Nibbana. Then Vimutti Jnana Dasanam is Lokiyam. It's always mundane. That is the Ekuna Visati Vidang Pachavikana Jnana Bhavato. It is the contemplation knowledge, contemplative knowledge that we gain after we attain the Magga Phala, like contemplating about, reflecting on the Magga, Phala, Nibbana, the Kelesa, eradicated Kelesa, the remaining Kelesa. Then, Evan Etesan Sila di Dhammanang Attano Santane Arahatta Paladi Gamena Anavasesato Nibbatta Paripuriya Param Pariyantang Gatoti. So Sakesu Dhammesu Param. So only a person, Arahant, has completed all these Saka Adhamma. All are Saka Dhamma because they brings benefits to our lives. Low noble has not completed them. So he cannot be called Paragu, because Paragu is a person who has completed it. So therefore it's explained. Then we explains about another way of saying, this is also very, very useful. Sotapatti Magga Digamani, by become Sotapanna, you become completed in Sila, right? Silesu Paripurakari Hoti. Then then we come Sotapanna Gahaneva Chitta Sakadagami Pi Gahito Hoti. So we have to understand Sotapanna and Sakadagami both are Sila Paripur, completed in Sila. Anagami Paladigamena, by attaining the Anagami Phala, one becomes Paragu in Samadhi, is completed in Samadhi. So he Samadhasmin Paripurakari Hoti, Tivutta. He has completed Samadhi. Arahatta Paladigamena, by attaining Arahanta, we normally say Panya Paripuri, but this book says, this commentary says, Itaresu Tisu Paragu. He has completed all the three sasanas, like Panya, Vimutti, and Vimutti Jnana Dasana all. Arahaihi, Panya Vepulla Patya, Aggabhutaya, Akuppaya Cheto Vimuttiya, Adhigatatta. So he is completed the wisdom. Then also he has attained the liberation, the foremost liberation, and he has completed all the Pachavikana knowledges. So therefore, he is called Paragu in Vimutti, Panya, Vimutti, and Vimutti Jnana Dasana. Right? So these are the explanations that also will be quite useful. Then Tada, so here it says, the second explanation, the commentary goes, Tada so Bahita Papa Dhammataya Paramatta Brahmano Hoti. So when one has gone into the far shore of these qualities, that time he is called a Brahmin. Right? Tada so Bahita Papa Dhammataya Paramatta Brahmano Hoti. So according to this, I think we have to change how the commentary, according to the commentary explanation, it should be like Yo Yada Sakesu Dhammesu Paragu Hoti Tada So Brahmano Hoti. right? So this is how that commentarial statement gives. But what I gave in the beginning was that is also possible when the Brahmin has gone beyond such things, then he has he overcomes all the fears. But according to the commentary says, when someone has gone to the far ends of these realities, that time he's a Brahmin, then he overcomes all the fears, right? So I changed it according to the commentarial explanation. Then the final part, then Ata etam pisachancha pakkulanchati vattati tato, after, because of that, or after that, yata vutta paragamanato, because of going to the far ends of such realities, or because of that, or ata pacha, or otherwise after that, right? So normally it's better to say after becoming a arahant, becoming arahant, he overcomes all the fears. So it says akkulam pakkulancha ativattati, atikkamati. Ativattati means atikkamati, abhibhavati, goes beyond. Tanna bhayatiti atto, he doesn't fear the ghost or his sound. That's what it means, right? So he doesn't fear anyone. So then at the end of the Gatha, the Ajapalaka Yakka, it didn't become Sotapanna. So the commentary says, Potu Janikaya Sadhaya Attani Nivitta Bhavang Vedi Vibhavento Sattu Sammuka Upasakatam Pavedisi. He became Upasaka, according to the commentary, not becoming a Sotapanna like Alavaka, but still being a Putujjana. So having the Potujjanika Saddha, he mentioned about his disciple, became a disciple of the Buddha. Right? So that is how the Gatha should be translated. So when someone goes to the end of these realities, he becomes a Brahmin, then real Brahmin, then after that, he overcomes all the fears. So this is how we explain the Gatha. If you have any questions.
Hello, Bante.
Hello, Ali. Yes.
Yes. May I ask one question?
Yes, sure.
About I see the word. What is Eguna Visati is what is 19 kind of Parichada Buddha?
Not Pacha Buddha, Pacha Vekkana.
Pacha Vekkana. What is 19?
Pacha Vekkana is reflective knowledges, right? So when you attain Magga and Phala, we normally recall our attainment, right? So the 19 Pacha Vekkana is, now if someone attains the Magga and Phala, he normally recall the path. He call back the path he attained, Magga. Then he called the Phala, fruition, Nibbana. Then the defilements, eradicated defilements, Pahina Kilesa. Then defilements remaining, Avasesa Kilesa. So these are the 5 reflective knowledges, right? Contemplating on Magga, Phala, Nibbana, Pahina Kilesa, and Avasesa Kilesa. So normally we have 4 nobles, right? So Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant. So if we multiply this by 4, it becomes 20, right? It becomes 20. But the thing is, the Sotapanna can contemplate his Magga, Phala, Nibbana, the Kilesas eradicated, and the remaining Kilesas. For Sakadagami also can do the same thing. Anagami also can do the same thing. But for the Arahants, he can contemplate Magga, Phala, Nibbana, the Kilesa eradicated, but he doesn't have remaining Kilesa.
Oh,
Yeah,
I remember. Yes,
right?
I remember.
He has only 4 Pacha Vekkana knowledge. So altogether it becomes 19, right?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Bante.
Okay.
And one more thing about, I would like to continue as about the Parinya. We have 3 kinds of Parinya, is Nyata Parinya, Tirana Parinya, and Pahana Parinya. So in this way, Abhinya, we can understand Abhinya, Panya, Nyata or not? Or the Abhinya, Banya, Parijala? Because in this, which one we refer to?
Abhinya, Panya, Parinya.
Yeah, apinya, panya, nyata, and parinya, panya, tirana, and pahana, panya, parijala. So which one? Which one we defer to?
Yeah, that's another approach, right? That is another approach. That also, yeah, that is also possible here. Like we have three types of parinyana: Nyata parinya, Tirana parinya, and Pahana parinya, right? Nyata parinya, Tirana parinya, Pahana parinya. So yeah, it is possible that we can include this also here, that threefold parinyana. He understands the 5 aggregates in terms of threefold parinyana. Yeah, that is a different approach. What I mentioned was a different one, Abhinyana and Parinyana. That was a different classification. So what you mentioned about the threefold Parinyana is a different way of explaining the Vipassana. Nyata Parinya from Ditti Visuddhi to Kanka Vitarana Visuddhi. Then Tirana Parinya comes into Sammasana Jnana. Then Pahana Parinya starts from Bhanga Jnana till Magga Jnana. The sub-commentary says even the strong Udyabhaya should be included in the Pahana Parinya. The young Udyabhaya falls into the Tirana Parinya, right? But the real Tirana Parinya should be Sammasana Jnana, but Udyabhaya, this young Udyabhaya also we can include. So yeah, that is another approach. We can include that also. We can call this also Parinya.
Query also? Can I interpret interview a little bit? Abhinya, regarding Dr. Ryan's question on the Suttara Sutta.
Okay.
There are a list of things that should be Abhinya, you know. So in that Four Noble Truth also included. I sent one screenshot to you already. The Atakata, the commentary mentioned Nyata Parinyaya Abhijani Tabboti Abhinyaya. In the Suttara Sutra, the point is not all three Abhinya, only Nyata Parinyaya Abhijani Tabboti Abhinyayu.
Okay.
So Four Noble Truths are categorized as yes.
Abhinyana, but in terms of Nyata Parinya.
Nyata Parinya, you're right.
Okay. Means knowing their intrinsic nature. Okay, thank you, Thanas. Dr. Ryan, Dr. Ryan, was it?
I'm sorry.
Could you get that point?
But so
could you get that point?
Not quite, Bhante.
But Bhante was mentioning, he has sent a screenshot. It means according to Dasuttara Sutta, you mentioned about Abhinyana, right? So what Bhante was mentioning, he has gone to the commentary and it says Nyata Parinya Vasena Abhinyana. So in terms of knowing the intrinsic nature.
Oh, okay, Bhante. I'll look into that. Yeah.
In the list of 1, or there are ahara. In the list of 2, there are another things like that. In the list of 4, there are 4 noble truths, 4 abhinyaya under the abhinyaya category.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Yes, thank you, Bhante.
Yes, someone is going to ask a question.
Bhante?
Yes, Brother Robin.
Bhante, is it possible for Bhante to explain a little bit like how is the reflection is done, Bhante? For example, like when seeing the remaining kilesa, like how is the way that he see? Is it seeing the citta, whether the defilements are already eradicated, the lobha cetasika already eradicated, something like that, Bhante?
Is it okay? Can you write this in the question and answer session? I will explain.
Okay, sure, Bhante.
It will take some time, so I'll go to the next sutta. Is it okay?
Okay, Bhante. Okay, okay, Bante. Sure, sure. Thank you very much, Bante.
Pandit,
Yes.
could you please translate the Asaka Dhamma there? Please go back a little bit.
Asaka Dhamma, right? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, the na anathawa. Where is it?
Here. Right.
Okay, na anathawa ha sangini sadama veya Asaka Dhamma. I remember you translate the anathawa. Here is a disadvantage, but here we have the na negation. So how we translate? That means advantage. It will become.
This not to take it that anattavaha sankelesa dhamma via asaka dhamma nahoti. So na should come at the end. Like
okay.
Right. So these dhammas brings the benefit. So they are called sakadhamma, right? But then they are not like the asakadhammas, which brings disadvantage. So
okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for pointing that. So we'll go to the next, the Sangamaji Sutta, which is quite long. So we'll directly go to the Gatha. So the Sangamaji Sutta, if I just remind, Venerable Sangamaji became an Arahant, having given up his wife and the child. So after his Arahanthood, he visited the city. The wife came with the child and asked him to take care of herself and the child. And he didn't care about it. He rejected means he didn't react to her suggestion or asking. Then she went back, right? That is the thing which happened. He went back without talking to her. So he didn't give much attention to her. So then we have that sutta. We have to do that gatha. Oh, is it the gatha is missing? I didn't given the data. Oh, sorry for that. I haven't given the gatha explanation on this. Okay, so but it is an easy gatha, so we'll go and directly translate it from the sutta itself. Sorry. Yeah, Sangamaji Sutta. I hope you can see. So this is what it says. Ayanting nabi nandati pakkamantang panting nasochati sangha sangama jing muttang tamaham brumi brahmana. Right? Tamaham brumi brahmana. So they have to we have to understand it. So how to understand the gatha. So Ayanting nabi nandati. Then so akkamanting na sochati sangha ahang sangha muttang sanggama jing sangha muttang sanggama jing brahmanang brumi. Right? This is how we understand the gatha, right? So is referred to Sangamaji. So ayanting nabinandati na abinandati. So pakkamanting na sochati. Right? Ahang tang sangha muttang sangamajing brahmanang brumi. Right? So if anyone is willing to translate the simple words, I think.
I just translate Bante.
Yeah, sure.
So ayantip na nabinadati so pakkamantim na sojati aham tam sangha muttam sangha majim pramanam rumi. is he does not reject her coming, and he does not grieve her leaving. So Venerable Sangha Majis were free from attachment. So I found in a commentary about explain about Sangha, we have three five kind of Sangha. Sangha is Raja, Dosa, Moha, Mana, Niti. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here, so I call him a Brahmana.
Thank you very much, Velan Sadhu Sadhu. Thank you for your nice translation. Yeah, I think she translated well. Here is the Brangamaji so. Ayanting means coming, right? Ayant is the one who is coming. Ayanting is the feminine gender. I think we discussed this in previous suttas that when we want to change a present participle into feminine gender, we put in T at the end, long, right? Ayanti. Then abhinandati. He doesn't rejoice her who is coming, right? She is coming to him. He doesn't rejoice on it. Oh, she is coming to see me. She came to talk with me, my ex-wife. So he is not rejoicing on that, right? Then pakkamantang na sochati. So he doesn't grieve on her who is leaving, right? So normally we can say sochati and abhinandati. Abhinandati and sochati are normally intransitive words, right? So we can say these and sochati and abhinandati, this ayanti and pakkamanti are the reasons for this sochati and abhinandati. Otherwise, we can ask now why sochati is an intransitive noun verb. Abhinandati is intransitive, like becoming happy or grieving on something. So these two, what is the relationship of this accusative case with these two verbs? For that, the commentary says, sorry for that, I couldn't give you the commentary. It says, Yena pana karanena tero evang, yeah. So it says, we have to understand that this is, these are the reasons for that abhinandati and sochati. Or we can also say that he doesn't rejoice her who was coming, and he didn't grieve her who was leaving, right? So then the commentary says what is the reason for this not rejoicing and not becoming sad? That is because he is released from the sangha. There are 5 types of sangha: raga, dosa, moha, as I said, mana and ditti. So ahang, I call him tang. I call this Sangamaji a Brahmin. Ahang tang Sangamajing Brahmanam Brumi. I call Sangamaji a Brahmin, right? So then, what kind of Sangamaji? Sangha Muttang Sangamaji. So Muttang is an adjective connected to Sangamaji, right? And the ablative of Muttang is Sangha. He is freed from Sangha. So the Sangamaji who is freed from these Sanghas, I call him a Brahmin. Right? So this is the translation on this, and it's not a very difficult one. Yeah. If you have anything to discuss on this. Okay, so I think it's clear, right? So shall we do the Jatila Sutta also quickly? It's a very short one.
Yes, Pandit, we can.
Yeah. So it's a very short sutta. Is anyone quickly can translate and go to the Gatha? Any volunteer to translate the Gatha and Sutta and Gatha? Bante Dhammadatta, can you try?
try Bante.
Okay, sadhu sadhu.
एवं में सुतं एकं समयं भगवा गायायां विहरति गयासि से thus I have heard.
We can, rough translation is okay. Rough translation is okay. No problem.
Thus I have heard once the Blessed One was dwelling near Gaya on the hill of Gaya.
Okay.
Tinako pana samayena sambahula jatila sitasu hemantikasu ratisu antarake himapataya samaye gayam nimujjitampi nimujjanimpi karonti osin chantinpi aggimpi juhanti. At that time, many matted hair ascetic in the cold winter, in the night.
Uttarataka means within the 8 days, right? Yeah, within the 8 days of snowfall.
In the night, within the 8 days of the snowfall in Gaya river, they immerse and plunk and sprinkle and make fire to sacrifice. Imena Suddhiti, this is purification.
Yeah, thinking that by this one becomes purified. Purification happens because of this, thinking that, right? Okay.
Adasako bhagavate sambahule jatile sitasu hemantasu ratisu antarathake himapatta samaye ghayayam umunjitampi nimujjanimpi karonte osin chantepi aggimpi juhete imena suddhiti. So that's the Blessed One, having seen matted hair ascetic in the cold winter night, in the night, within the 8 days of snowfall in Gaya, they emerge and plunk and sprinkle and make fire for sacrifice, thinking that this is make purification.
Purification happens by this. Yeah. So also not we have to say not having seen, the Blessed One saw, right? Blessed One saw, right? Okay.
Athako bhagava eta mata vididva tayang velayang imang udanang udanesi. Having understood this, the Blessed One uttered this utterance. Na udakena sochi hoti bahetha nayanti jano yang hi sachancha dhammuncha so suchi socha brahmanoti. Na udakena sochi.
Right. Na udakena suchi. So shall we go to the Gatha vocabulary? Easy to translate. Okay. Yeah. So here's the one. Na udakena suchi hoti bahuvetta nahayati jano yammi satchancha dhammocha so suchi socha brahma. How to understand the Gatha? Udakena suchi na hoti. Yeah.
By water one cannot cleanse.
Yeah. Sure.
And
one cannot have the purification. There is no purification by means of water.
By water.
Yes. Right. Then.
Bahujano etha nayati yang hi satchancha.
Yeah, you can translate this sentence first. Bahujano
etha nayati. Many beings, many people. Birth, taking birth in it.
Yeah, itta, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yang hi satchancha dhammoncha
Vijjanti. Yam hi satchancha dhammocha
yang hi
vijjanti.
satchancha dhammoncha vijjanti.
So suchi hoti, so brahmanocha hoti.
Who is
here subject is satchancha and dhammocha, right? Vijjati is exist or found.
yes.
So here in whom right, this is relative clause. Yeah.
In whom who is they are found truth and the dhamma.
Right.
Sochi socha brahmano. He is pure purification and he is holy man, noble
Yeah.
man.
He is the purified. So suchi hoti. He is purified, right? He is a pure person, and also he is a brahman. Okay, thank you very much, Mandi. Well done. Thank you. So I think you got the rough idea. The same thing was some jatilas, the Mattadheya ascetics were taking bath, thinking that they will get the purification based on. Thank you for this coloring. So someone they were thinking they were getting the purification by taking bath, and then Buddha saw it and he uttered this verse. Udakena suchina hoti bahujano ettanahayati yammi satchancha dhammocha vijjanti so suchi hoti so brahmanocha hoti. This is how we make the sentence into a simple terms. Now, otherwise it is sometimes it is scattered. The words are scattered. So we can arrange it in this manner based on the commentary. So udakena suchina hoti, there is no purification based on udaka. That is how we get the meaning. But if you go to the commentary, it has a quite little bit of a different meaning, but it doesn't much affect our translation, even though we say there is no purification in terms of by water. So the commentary gives, it's good for our grammar knowledge. So we'll discuss on this. Etta udakenati, the word udakena, right? Udaka indicates udaka umujjanadina, right? So this is udakena is instrumental case. So there the commentary want to say this udaka, the word udaka doesn't mean just water. They want to say this is a shortened form of udaka umujjana and udaka nimmujjana. So udaka umujjana, udakumujjana. So it's a udaka plus umujjana. Then and also udaka nimmujjana, right? So this by udaka nimmujjana, udakumujjana, udaka nimmujjana. Adi, the word adi says udaka umujjana, udaka nimmujjana, and so forth, right? So here the commentary says, is my connection okay? Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yes, Vande, it's okay.
Udaka umujjanadihi ida uttarapada lopena udakanti uttam, right? Uttarapada lopena, because now the samasa word has to come udakum mujjana, right? So this is the word should be. But what has happened, the gata has only udaka. So the second word of this gata of the samasa has been dropped. That is what the commentary says. It is being dropped. That is called uttarapada lopa, right? Uttarapada lopa is when a second word of a samasa is dropped, it is called uttarapada lopa. So if I highlight this with another color, this word is dropped. The same thing happens for nimmujjana, right? The same thing happens in nimmujjana because this has to be normally, otherwise it has to be udaka nimmujjana. So now, even though the meaning is still the same. So second word is dog. So the word comes as udaka. Here also it's udaka. But what the commentary is saying, even though it comes as udaka, you have to understand it as udaka ummujjana and udaka nimmujjana. So purification happens not because of plunging in and emerging out. Right? So either that is what the commentary says. A similar explanation is yatha, example, rupa bhavo rupanti. So we normally, the rupa bhava, the rupa avachara life, we call it just rupa sometimes. So the bhava is dropped, the word bhava. By dropping the word bhava, we can say rupa bhava is rupa. So even though it says rupa, we have to understand rupa. In the same way, the word udaka indicates udaka ummujjana and udaka nimmujjana, right? That is called uttarapada lopa. So likewise, we can have uttarapada lopa, then also ubbapada lopa and majje lopa. We have three types of dropped, right? Words can be dropped. Sometimes the previous word can be dropped. Sometimes a middle word can be dropped. Sometimes the last word can be dropped. So how to understand this? This is what we need a commentary and also some grammar knowledge to understand it, right? So then, yeah, if you have any questions on this grammatical point.
Hi, Bante.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a technical term for this, Bante? This process?
You mean this grammatical point?
Yes. Yes.
This is according to Niruti Dipani, this is called as Uttarapada. This is the word Uttarapada lopa, Majje pada lopa, and Ubbapada lopa samasa. This is the word Uttarapada lopa samasa, Majje pada lopa samasa, Ubbapada lopa samasa.
I see. Okay. Thank you, Bante.
You can find this, Dr. Ryan, in the end of the Sandhi chapter of Niruti Dipani, the last part. You can find.
I see. Okay. Thank you, Bante.
Dropping the entire word. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, Atava Udakenati, another way of explaining, Ataka, another way was we can just take the water also. Umujjanadi Kiriyaya Sadhana Bhutena Udaken. So, Umujjana and Umujjana, Nimujjana, emerging, plunging cannot be done without water. So, water is a sadhana of Umujjana and Nimujjana. These actions has to be done in the water. You know, sadhana means the things that are necessary to do a certain action, right? We have 7 types of sadhana according to our grammar. The grammar Pali students may know it. So udaka is the one of the main reasons for this Umujjana and Nimujjana. So even though we do the Imujjana and Nimujjana without udaka, you cannot do it. So actually, one can also argue, the actual purification happens because of the water, because there are specific rivers. According to some doctrines, even though one emerges and plunges in the bathtub in the house, you cannot be purified. It has to be done in a sacred river like Ganga, right? So such a sacred river, Ganga, Yamuna, and so forth. So only then you become purified. So therefore, another way of saying is there is no purification by water. That is also possible. What is that water? The water which is necessary for these acts of plunging and emerging, right? So then, whether it's by these acts or whether it's by water, there is no purification. That is what the Buddha wanted to say. There is no suci, right? Then, Atava, another way is suchiti, the word suchi. Now we are talking about the suchi, focusing on suchi. Previously, we explained about the entire phrase, entire sentence. Now we are focusing on suchi. Atava, tena yatha uttena udakena, the mentioned water, the udaka can be umujjana, nimujjana, or udaka can be pure water. There are 2 explanations for that. Suchi, papa malato suddho nama satto nohoti. There is no being who became purified. Suddho. Suddho means purified, past participle. A being who got purified from evil stains, papa mala, evil stains, in terms of water or in terms of these acts, right? Kasma, what is the reason? Now the commentary is giving a reason. This is also indicates a very important philosophical point of view related to our practice. Bahuvetta nahayati jano, right? Bahuvetta, I think we have already, we have to understand this. Bahuvetta is Bahu Etta, right? So then what happens? U becomes Va. U becomes Va. Bahuvetta. Bahuvetta. So then this is the word which is given in the commentary. But you know, in the some grammar books, we have metathesis on this. Then we have Bav Hetta. So sometimes the H and Va can interchange. Right? H and Va. Yes, thank you for coloring. Yeah, Bav Hetta can be interchanged. So these two letters can go up and down. I think the students who have studied Kachayana are very aware of this. This sentence, this word can, two letters go up and in front of back, right? Bahu etta nahayati. So there are, so the meaning is Bahu etta nahayati jano means many people take water. Bahu etta is there. Bahu is many. Jano is people. Nahayati is take bath, right? Then what the argument is, first argument, right? First argument is, now practically this is not possible. The first argument is practically you can observe this. The second point is the philosophical point. Yadihi udaka rohana dina yata uttena papa suddhi namasya. I'll just translate it. If there is purification from evil deeds because of taking bath in certain waters, Bahuvetta udake jano nahayati. There are many people or many beings who take bath in such water. Matu gatakadi papa kammakari. Some who have done matricide, who had killed their mother, father, and so forth, very evil deeds, who had done very evil deeds. Anyocha go mahisadiko. Sometimes cows, buffaloes, mahisa, and some goats and all, they also take bath. Some who has done very evil deeds, and also ones who have ones who are like cows, goats, and so forth. Antamaso macha kachape upadaya. Even there are lots of creatures living in the water. Macha kacha. Macha is fish, kachapa is turtle or tortoise. Upadaya. So there are lots of beings, the ones who have done the evil deeds, the robbers and all these take bath there, and also the animals, and also some animals live in the water, right? So if actual purification happens because of this taking bath in certain water, tassa sabbasapi papa suddhisya. Everyone's evil should be washed away. They should get purified. It doesn't happen. It's not practically happening. It's like, to common sense, we understand this is not possible to happen. Like the Buddha once said, if you are purified by this water, all the beings who are living in this water should be utterly purified because they are always living in this water, right? So it doesn't make sense. Now the philosophical point of view, why it doesn't happen, right? Why it doesn't happen? Nahanassa papa hetunang appatipakka bhavatu. So now we want to eradicate the evil. So when we want to eradicate the evil, we have to do it with something which is utterly opposite. That is the Buddhist philosophy. So if we want to get rid of the bodily stains, we bring water, which can remove it, which is not, when the water is there, when the soap is there, the stains cannot remain. So it means stain and soap and water are against each other. Like stain is opposite of water and soap. Water and soap is opposite of stain. They don't be in the same place. But the papa mala, papa hetu, the evil deeds in the mind and the water and the taking bath, water or the acts of taking bath, they are not opposite to each other, right? Yanhi yang nivaseti, so tassa vinaseti, so tassa patipakko, yata aloko andakarasa. Yanhi yang vinaseti. Yang hi yang. So yang hi yang vinaseti. Yang hi here means yang plus he. Right? This is sandhi. I think because of ha, this nigahita becomes nya. Right? I think the students who have studied Pali grammar knows this. They are this is a euphonic combination. Yang hi yang nimaseti. Yang hi yang. If something destroyed some other thing, vinaseti. Right? So tassa patipakko. If the destructor is patipakka, opposite or completely against the thing that is being destructed. Yatha, this example is aloko andakarassa. When we say the light dispels the darkness, light is opposite, completely of opposite nature of darkness. The same way, vidya avidya. So vidya, the wisdom, is opposite of ignorance. So therefore, when we talk about the eradication, it has to be done with a completely opposite nature. Now we say loba has to be eradicated by aloba, dosa has to be suppressed or eradicated by adosa, moha has to be eradicated or suppressed by panya or amoha. And this is the normal. Then otherwise also we can generally say akusala can be suppressed or destroyed by kusala. So there are two types of suppression or eradication. Eradicating by utterly opposite natures like loba by aloba, dosa by adosa, moha by amoha. Or as a generally, in a general opposite nature, not direct opposite, general opposite, like all the akusala can be suppressed by whatever kusala. It means even loba can be suppressed by adosa, loba can suppress by amoha. Dosa can be suppressed by aloba, dosa can be suppressed by amoha. Then moha also can be suppressed by aloba and adosa. So, but if you want to come into the, there are sometimes the Buddha has mentioned about direct opposite eradication with a completely directly opposite nature, sometimes by generally opposite nature. So any akusala can be suppressed by any kusala. That's why in Visuddhimagga it says, if you remember, according to the temperament, the kammatthana, the meditation subjects are divided according to temperament. A person with high anger should practice metta, high lust should practice asubha, a person with a lot of vitakka should practice anapanasati, moha charita, it's also manapanasati is recommended, because these are oppositely, these meditations are directly opposing the akusala natures of that person. Then at the end of that chapter, Visuddhimagga, the teacher, the Venerable Buddhaghosa says, but keep in mind, there is no kusala bhavana that does not suppress akusala. So in general, any kusala is opposite of akusala. So they are likewise, in our tradition, Theravada tradition, eradication, suppression, or removal of akusala has to be done with the opposite nature. So that's why we normally say, loba cannot be suppressed by dosa. Dosa cannot be suppressed by loba. If someone is sad, he goes to enjoy a party, it is not a suppression. It is, we call a replacement. It's a replacement. Akusala is replaced by another akusala. Suppression or pahana is discussed only by opposite nature. There are two types of oppositions, that is directly, completely opposing, like aloba to loba, or general opposition, like whatever kusala to whatever akusala, right? But also I have mentioned, it is mentioned in the Puggala Petakopadesa. It's mentioned in the Petakopadesa, if my memory was correct. Petakopadesa. Yeah, Petakopadesa, if my memory was correct. Or Neti. He says, for some, like a person with a very intense level of metta, intense level of dosa, Buddha would always teach them metta. If someone was with intense level of loba, Buddha would teach them asubha. It is not possible. Normally, he would not teach metta to a person with intense level of loba, very high level of loba. First, he has to suppress his loba with asubha, and then you can practice metta. So there is also such a statement, approach the Buddha made in his Dhamma preachings. So then, but generally we say all the kusala is against the akusala. So, but the soap or water is not like it. It is a material thing. Akusala is an immaterial namadam. So they are not opposing each other because Rupa and Nama, Rupa cannot eradicate Nama because they don't have that nature. Na evang nahanam papassa. So that's why I say. So like andaka aloka against andakara, vijja against avidya, but taking bath and water is not against the papa like as before, like what was mentioned. Tasma nittametang gandabba. So one has to come into conclusion. Na uddakena suchi hoti. Now there's no doubt. Don't keep any doubt on it. There is impossible because they don't have that fundamental nature of opposite nature of each other, right? So that is what the philosophical point. So I'll just conclude the explanation. Then yena pana suchi hoti tandasetung. So what the suchi, the purification happens to show that the Buddha mentioned Satcha and Dhamma, right? Yammi Satchancha Dhammocha, right? So Satcha means there are two types of Satcha according to this commentary explanation. Yamhi means Yasmin Puggale, in whatever person. Satcha is Vachi Satcha and Virati Satcha, right? Abstaining, speaking. Vachi Satcha is speaking the truth. Virati Satcha is abstaining from talking evil, lies, and so forth. Ata va Satchanti. So another explanation, Jnana Satcha Satchancheva Paramatta Satchancha, right? Paramatta Satchang is the knowing the ultimate truths. Jnana Satcha, I think it is the wisdom. We are talking about the wisdom. This is what I feel. Maybe I'm not confident on this because there is no sub-commentary on this. Then Dhammoti, Arya Magga Dhammo. Dhamma is the Arya Magga Dhamma, Pala Dhamma, Magga Pala. They are called Dhamma. Dhamma has many meanings. Here it refers to Arya Magga and Arya Magga and Pala. So Sabbopi Yasmin Puggale Upalabbati. All these, if all these are found in a certain person, if some person has these qualities, so Suchi, Socha Brahmanoti. He is the purified person. He is called the Brahmin. So Arya Puggalo Visesato Kinasalo. So this is Arya Puggala Visesato Kinasalo. So purified person. So here purified person is all Aryas are purified, right? Visesato Kinasalo. So specifically the Kinasalo. So in some places we find the word when we want to explain about the nobility, the Sutta may explain about the Arahant, but sometimes according to the Dhamma point of view, we are possible to take all the lower nobles. But we normally say Visesato Kina, specifically Kina. So these are very good indication. Sometimes it is not possible for us to specifically say this only refers to the Arahant, this only refers to the Sotapanna. In some suttas, it is possible. But some cases, the terminologies have been used covering a general sense. But the sutta indicates about Arahant. So in such a case, sometimes the tradition says, so Arya Puggalo Visesato Kinasal. So this noble person, specifically the Kinasa, Visesato. It means we are giving more emphasis on the Arahant, but we don't remove the other noble beings, right? So I think last time also we had a discussion on that, like Arya, Jatiya, Jato, something like that. One who is born in the noble clan in terms of Magga and Pala, because Sutta was talking about Kinasava, Arahant, and so forth, right? So specifically we are addressing the Kinasava. But sometimes when we analyze, it is possible if someone says whether the lower nobles are also counted because of Arya, Jatiya, there may be a possibility. I'm not saying exactly, there may be a possibility. So what I want to indicate by this statement is that sometimes we the attention goes to one noble. It's very clear, but because of the terminologies that has been used, sometimes it can cover the other nobles, the other people also. So then in that sense, we are free to say, we are free to say as disciples, so Arya Puggalo Visesato Kina. Specifically talking about the nobles, but specifically this noble. In this case, Kinasava Arahant. Achanta Sudhya Suchita Brahmano Chat. So he is called a Brahmin because he is completely purified with all the Dhamma, all the impurities. So then the commentary says, why we have Dhamma, the true good qualities, why the Satcha was separately taken as a separate thing, because Satcha is Bahupakaratta, it is very helpful. And he gives lots of explanations how the Satcha is helpful, mentioned in the suttas, and then the disadvantages of not having the truthful nature. So then he gives a confirmation. He wants to emphasize and prove his statement. Why Satchasa Bahupakaratta? So these statements are called Agama Dalhikarana. There are two types of Dalhikarana. Now the commentator gives a statement. Why the Satcha was taken? The question was asked. Satchasa Bahupakaratta, because it's very helpful to our attainment. So how to prove it? Either we have to prove it with our own intuition, wisdom. Intuition means our own intellect, or we have to prove it with the teachings from the canon. So in the previous sentence, commentators say it is not possible for a person to become purified. Kasma, why is that? He is giving a logical explanation on this. He's giving a logical explanation why the bathing and defilements are not opposite to each other. But in this case, he is giving reasons quoting from the suttas. So these both are called Dalhikarana. Dalhikarana means he supports his argument. He supports his argument. But sometimes you can support your argument with your own evidences, with your own wisdom, like intellectual ability. Sometimes we bring the evidences from the suttas or the teachings. So these are called Dalhikarana. That is for your further studies. I'll just finish the explanation with this. Dalhikarana. So we have twofold Dalhikarana. Yutti Dalhikarana. Yutti Dalhikarana means you give explanations like logical explanations. Yutti, then Agama Dalhikarana. Agama Dalhikarana means giving evidences, references from the text, especially the canon, right? Especially the canon. Yeah, so this is the explanation I would like to give. Yeah, if you can color, please color it. Yeah, so if you have any questions on this explanation, I talked a lot, I think.
So Bandi, I have a question about the, yeah, could you be go up about the, let me check. Bahu Ita Udageja no Nayadi here.
Yeah.
Yeah, here. So if I take the Jano as a person, just a single one. So how about the Bahu?
Bahu is singular here.
I mean, can we say it means a person who takes a shower in the water many times?
You mean take the Jano as a singular person?
Yes, yes.
Jano. Normally it's a plural, right?
Because you say according to the context, they did the umujadi, nimujadi, umujadi, nimujadi again. So can we understand in that way?
Bahu Nahayati. Yeah. Now Jana can be a person, a man, the people. All possibilities are there. So you are taking it, you want to say it as one person, but the story says there were many, right? According to the story,
Yeah.
if you go to Sutta,
yes, but
yeah.
they also do the omujadi, nimujadi many times. So
then we have to say Bahung Nahayati, Bahung, because we have to make it a adverb, right? So then if you make it adverb, we have to say Jano Bahung Nahayati. Nigahita or accusative or instrumental case should be used.
So if is Bahu is modified the Jano, but why in the commentary they do not put it in front of the Jano? They put it in the beginning.
Commentary or the sutta?
Commentary here is Bahu Eta Utage Jano Nayati, right?
Bahu etta udake. So yeah. You mean this ball color one?
No. The explanation one.
Bahu etta udake jano nahayati. You mean, I think they have explained into the order it was given. If you want to say Bahu Nahayati, Bahu should come before the Nahayati, right?
But if you say, if in that people, many people, that is Bahu Jano.
Etta udake Nahayati. Yeah.
Bante,
Not, it is not, is it a concluding reason for we to get it? Yeah, I understand what you point. Normally it should come before or after, immediately, but can we bring the argument like is it a main reason for us to consider like that? Then also we can say, someone can say, if it is related to Nahayati, Bahu should come before Nahayati, right? Etta udake jano Nahayati. So I think the commentator has followed the order of the sutta. Sutta says Bahu etta Nahayati jano. So here Bahu etta is indicating this combination. Like the sutta comes like Bahu etta. So this can lead for confusion. So it was I think this is my personal idea. We can discuss about this. We can also say the commentator's duty was to show this euphonic combination. So instead of saying, showing the Bahu and Jana are connected to each other, he had the duty to show them is Bahu Etta is combination of Bahu and Etta, and this Va is an insertion. So maybe that is the reason he brought them here. Otherwise, as you said, normally the commentary would say Bahu Jano Etta Udake Nahayati. That is how we would expect the commentary to do that, right? But here it was mentioned Bahu Etta Udake Jano Nahayati. Why this was, instead of bringing Jano here, why it was kept in here? Personally, I feel it is to show that euphonic combination, to show it separately.
But if they do like Eta Udage Bahu Jano Nayadi, that we also can see, oh, that is Bahu and Eta.
No, because Etta and Bahu are, this is the combination, right? So it's better to show them separated, right? You mean this is about euphonic combination, this one, combined word. So it is better to show the two words each close to each other. Then we understand, oh, this is the connection.
Oh, but if I take the Jano as a singular, so
you cannot use Bahu. Bahu is always a plural adjective, right? Yeah, if you take it singular, Bahu cannot be adjective of Jano. Then it has to be the adverb of Nahayati. Then we come into the question, it has to be in the adverbial syntax, like either accusative singular or instrumental singular.
Hi, Bante.
Yes, Doctor.
So CLA, so why can't we think that the Bahu is the indication for us to see that Jano has the collective meaning? Okay, so we right. So as we know that Jano, Jana can have, it can mean a person or the people. So here, why we can't say that the Bahu is the indication for us to say that Jano have to have the meaning, the plural meaning. Because here, Bahu and Jano, they have the same case ending.
Yeah, I know that point. But Bandi, how about according to traditional grammar, Bahu, do they have the like a Nibbada form?
I don't think. But traditionally, no, it's not mentioned as Nibbada. I don't think so. As Dr. Ryan said, it's why, because it's the same case ending. If you argue it as a Nipata, but I think you want to say that to indicate that many actions by Bahu, right?
Yes.
then this is the action, then it has to be an adverb. So in that case, it has to be either accusative or instrumental, or otherwise it should be a nipata. But personally, I feel this is connected to Jano, right? And as Dr. Ryan said, you can also consider it as an indicator to show that Jano is not singular, it's plural.
But anyway, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Bante. May I have the idea in this sentence? So I found is Niruti Dibani, Sutta 55 about Sarah lady said that is belong to Vibhati Vibhalasa, because Bahu should connected with the Jano. So normally it's Bahu Jana, but here that is Vibhati Vibhalasa, so it's become the Bahu Jano. You can see my my message I sent to in the box.
Okay. I didn't get your point clearly. Anyway.
Yeah.
You have mentioned in everyone. Okay. Bahu Wabado, right?
Yes. So Bahu connect with the Jana. So it should be, according to Bali grammar, it should be Bahu Jana Nyayati. But because why it becomes the Jano? Because that is big Vibhati Vibhalasa. Vibhati Vibhalasa. We can see in Niruti.
No, this is Vipallasa is Hassa Vipallasu. This is an indication of Ha and Va are Vipallasa. This is not a Vipallasa.
Yeah. So how about the Mahavuti Danam Bujate Ranam Vipallasa?
That Mahavuti Vidanam Uchate Ya Ranyang. So Ya and Ra can also be interchanged. Here Va Ha Vam Hi Pare Hassa. Va and Ha can be interchanged. It is Bahu Abado and Bahveta Nahayati Jano. Right?
Yeah. It's okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this point is okay, but we can we consider about the Bahu Jano is Vibhati Vipallasa as well?
No, cannot, right? It's not necessary because Jana can have a collective plural meaning.
In Bali grammars, we have a lot of, we have 6 kinds of Vipallasa, so we can see a lot of Vipallasa in.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. That is, we need to approach a Vipallasa method if we cannot explain it with if we cannot explain it with direct grammar, then we have to think about alternative like Vipallasa and all. But Jana is can have 2 meanings. That's what Sayale was asking, why we cannot take it as singular. It also has a plural meaning. So Jana, when you take it as a plural meaning, Bahu and Jana are in the same case ending as Dr. Ryan mentioned. So it can be explained as a Bahu Jana in the plural meaning. We don't need to take it as a Vipallasa, right? So Jano, even though it's a singular nominative case, it has the indication meaning of plural. So Bahu Jano means many people, we can say, right? Bahu. Even without Bahu Jano, Jano can refer to many people, right? So we can also say Bahu indicates that there were many people. I don't think
So,
there's possibility necessary of Vibhat Vipallasa here.
So if so, we can consider about Bahu Jano is just a group?
A group of many people, yeah. Many people.
Yeah. Okay.
But the discussion we had, what the question was raised, it's a possible alternative, like because according to the sutta, there were many actions were done again and again and again and again. That's why the Sayala was asking the question, why can't we take Bahu connected to Nahayati? So in that case, even as one person was taking bath many times, that was the question raised, right? So the answers were given. Yeah, it is possible. It is possible. Grammatically, it is possible. Then the question, because the question she raised was why they are not close to each other. So then it can indicate that Jano and Bahu are not connected. Maybe it is possible to connect to Nahayati according to the context. So the problems that come is then it becomes an adverb. Then it has to be either accusative or instrumental case. Then if it is a nipata, then you can also, that argument is valid if it is a nipata. So that's what another way of thinking on it. Personally, what I feel is Bahu is connected to Jano, and there are many people taking bath. So that was the discussion which was going. I think Vipatti Vipallasa, we don't need to think, I think, personally.
Hi, Bante.
Yeah,
I know it's late, so I don't know whether or not this explanation is going to be long. So if it's long, then we can do it later. But I would love to hear more about Vajji Satya and Virati Satya. What is that? What are those terms mean?
Vajji Satya is like when we talk the truth, that is called Vajji Satya. Then we have Virati Satya is the 3 viratis, abstaining from evil words. Is it okay, like if you put it into the Q&A session, I'll give you a detail.
Sure. Thank you, Bante.
So shall we call it a day, Sally?
Okay, Bante, sure.
So yeah, thank you for listening. And to conclude, is now our fundamental days are fixed, right?
Yes, already fixed, but I'm just waiting for the Zoom number.